All well, and you?
Yes, everything is okay. So, how are the things organized?
Everything should go well. We are expecting teachers from the network to join us for the first part as well before we do
Okay,
the
and for us, for the speakers, after the first part, we log off and log in with the new link. Okay. That's perfect. So we already have some of the colleagues, the professors from Romania. We as BSUN, we shall also make the capture of the image and broadcast it on YouTube.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, excellent.
Hello.
Recording in progress.
Hello, Marina.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Great, thanks.
Vă așteptăm, bună ziua!
Bună ziua!
Bună ziua!
I think most of the speakers are here. Hello, Stavros. Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Irina.
Hello, Evie. Let me
Hello.
rename myself.
And I saw Carmen as well. Hello, Carmen.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, Carmen.
Now for the welcome session, we already have Mr. Valentin Moldoveanu. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. And Mr. Stavros Kalognomos.
Thank you for the invitation. Nice to meet you all.
Kalimera.
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 Okay. So this is the Greek connection.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So I would kindly ask Mrs. Cogjean, Evie Cogjean, to take the lead and to start sharp at 2 p.m., let's say the time in Brussels, Central European time, and 3 p.m. in our part of the world. Evie?
That is now, huh? Well, let me share my screen. Huh? Voila. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. The webinar, Schools for the Blue Economy. It is part of our series of professional development sessions that we, in the network of European Blue Schools, organize for teachers. This is a special collaboration today. So this is not just a normal professional development session. So we are working together with our partners, the Black Sea Universities Network and the Erasmus Plus project, Blue Schools. So the collaboration between us was just unavoidable since we share the same goals. We really want to bring the ocean to education and more specific, the blue economy into the classrooms. So this has to happen today. We are very proud that we can do this workshop with you. So let me first introduce you. I'm the host of today, Evie Kopians. I manage the network of European Blue Schools for the EU for Ocean Coalition for Ocean Literacy, a project that is funded by DG Maritime Affairs and Fisheries. I'm also the co-founder of the European Marine Science Educators Association. That is a network of scientists, educators and teachers, all interested to bring the ocean into the class. On our program today, we first have a welcome by some interesting guests today that I will introduce later to you. And then we will start with giving you possibilities on how to address the blue economy and blue growth in your classroom and how to develop a project from that. This is the open webinar. The first hour is the open webinar. After this, we have a more specialized training session for a group of Romanian teachers. So this is that we will talk about that later. Voilà. Let me introduce first Professor Iden Mahmoud. He's the director of the Black Sea Universities Network and based in Constanța in Romania. Iden, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It is a real how can I say, a joy to see that this event happens. It is a lot of interest around it. And as I was mentioning even before, we have different other organizations that are collaborating and supporting us. So thank to Mrs. Covjean. We have this partnership for developing a, let's call it, platform for cooperation between the educators of the region in order to promote blue growth and blue economy. And from that perspective, we started 1 year ago. We have already organized several meetings, but the most important thing starts from now on, because this is the starting point of, let's say, putting the teachers together, inviting them to share their opinions and to start collaborating. And for this, we have invited also a very special organization, the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Regions. To be very honest, I had the pleasure to meet Mr. Valentin Moldoveanu just a few days ago, but I was really impressed. I visited him in Tulcea, and I have seen how many projects, how many activities he is developing there together with different associations, companies, and so on. So Mr. Valentin Moldoveanu, he is also chairing the Balkan and Black Sea section of this conference. And this is done in, let's say, very good partnership with Mr. Stavros Kalognomos, also a very big heart of blue economy in our region. So with your permission, I would kindly ask Evi to introduce now Mr. Valentin Moldoveanu.
So, Mr. Valentin.
Hello, hello everyone.
Yes, hello.
Salut from Tulcea, near the Danube. I am active president of Black Sea and Balkan and Black Sea Commission of CPMR, the peripheral area, and manager of Flag Danube Delta. We are involved in a lot of projects of Blue Grow. I salute your project with school because the children are very important in this part of blue and blue economy in the future. In development, good. You can hear me? I don't. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So we can hear you, Mr. Moldoveanu.
I will.
Try to keep the microphone closer. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
One moment. Hello. I am back. And the microphone is closer now. I salute your project in. You hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Yes.
Yes, we can hear you very clear.
Okay. In this program from Tulcea, I understand will be 2 schools in this training of programs from Mr. Mamut. I understand in our visit a few days ago. We support and help with unit in Tulcea or the region of Balkans and Black Sea. For that, Mr. Stavros will have an intervention after me. And I want to have another to see about this project a lot in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Stavros, are you here?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
here just a moment. Yes,
Yes.
I'm here with you.
Would you also
So,
like to say something to the teachers here?
yes, so thank you very much once for the invitation. A few words about the CPMR and why we're here and why we're there to cooperate through our members with different levels of governance and different stakeholders in the area. So we are an association of regions from throughout Europe, mainly maritime and peripheral regions. And we work both as a think tank, and we lobby for our region's interests, and we also work together with projects. So we lobby at the same time for new European policies, and and we implement the new policies, we test them and provide useful feedback back to the European institutions through different projects that we participate in. We are an interlocutor of the European Commission, mainly DG Regio, DG Mare, and the other DGs. And we also offer the secretariat to the Syrica Intergroup of the European Parliament, so the Seas, Rivers, Islands, and Coastal Areas Intergroup of the European Parliament. That provides a very important forum for the different maritime stakeholders from all over Europe to discuss about new challenges, new solutions to existing problems, and work all together to find solutions and make maritime sector more sustainable and more promising and attractive for young people as well. Since we are talking about the schools today, youth is among our main priorities. In the past, as CPMR, we coordinated an EU project directly funded by the European Commission. It was called Vasco da Gama. This project was about training for greener and safer maritime transport. We had a partner from the Black Sea, from Varna Naval Academy. And it's, let's say, a pilot project that we try since then to replicate and to implement through different other projects in the wider area. As I said before, we work closely with our member regions for the different EU policies that also apply on youth. We are there with them. Mr. Moldovano and Tulce is a very active member region of the CPMR and our Balkan Black Sea Commission. So we prepare together with our member regions for the new programming period, 2021-2027. We always are there for them for different projects. What we can do as the CPMR is structured on different geographical commissions is that we can bring expertise and best practice already tested in other sea basins of Europe to the Black Sea, implement them with blue schools. So far, we've been working with maritime universities, but still, as we are open to different stakeholders from our area, from our membership, blue schools could be also a very interesting partner for us, and we'd be glad to work with them. So what we can bring from the other maritime basins of Europe is what they have already tested regarding youth, different project ideas, be it on maritime education and training, be it on aquaculture, on blue growth sectors, and see how they could be replicated and work in the Black Sea area. The same, an exchange of ideas, the needs of the Black Sea, of the wider Black Sea region, to help them, to help their voice heard at pan-European level. This is what we can do together with our members and Tulsa for sure, as a pivotal member region from the Black Sea. So, as I said before, we are there to lobby for new policies or for better and improved policies, for funding so that these policies can be implemented, and having youth and having a dialogue, a constructive dialogue with youth could help all policies and all European initiatives to be better implemented and more sustainable. Because if we want something to be sustainable, we need to get the future stakeholders more and more involved in that. So thank you once again for the invitation. I look forward to hearing all discussions of today so that I can get back with new ideas and food for thought to my colleagues and get back to you for future cooperation opportunities. So thank you once again for that.
Thank you.
Eddie, if you allow me, I would like also to add something. So once again, thank you for both of you, Mr. Moldovanu and Mr. Kalognomos. But we would like, and we know exactly what we want from your side. So actually, we would like to collaborate with you, particularly with your connections at local levels. For instance, if we are talking about FLAG, the association that is led by Mr. Moldovanu, he has many different other organizations that are part of this FLAG organization. Some of them are companies that are processing. Other companies are specialized in tourism or in different other activities related to fishing and so on. So the schools from the Danube Delta, they would like to have partners like this for developing their projects. The similar aspects are the schools from the other county, the Constanța County, the Galați County, and also from Brăila. So in this way, with your connections to develop a sort of, let's call it, ecosystem of stakeholders supporting the teachers and the schools in developing localized type of projects. And besides of that, of course, there is also the dimension that you mentioned to have this collaboration at Europe scale. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Secretary General. Please, dear President.
Yes, and thank you also from my name, and look forward to collaborating with you further.
If I may seize the opportunity of what Professor Mahmoud just said about ecosystems, and given that Southeast Romanian will soon join the initiative that I just sent to you through the chat. This is a cultural and creative regional ecosystems thematic area under the Industrial Modernization Platform of the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. This is partially a deliverable of a project we had in the Adriatic-Ionian region, but still, as a result, is there and it's open to all Europe. So the aim of this, I'll be brief with that, the aim of this regional ecosystems is to stimulate new insights and opportunities related to cultural and creative experience for local communities and residents through public-private investments, something that has been tested and works well. The focus of these regional ecosystems, as its title says, are creative entrepreneurs, cultural heritage professionals, cultural and creative intermediaries and managers, and professionals of the audiovisual sector. However, given the character of the CPMR as a mainly maritime organization and the links with blue growth, these ecosystems will also work with professionals such as marine biologists, maritime historians and archaeologists, maritime special planning planners, fishermen, traditional sea builders, and other maritime professions. So I'm sure there are opportunities to work on that with the Blue Schools. So we'll share with you more information about it. Once again, let me welcome Southeast Romania to this synergy. And soon we expect to have more concrete results because this is a brand new synergy. It was officially launched last October. So we are there to make it work and we do count on your active participation in that.
Thank you.
So now I have the honor to introduce to you three interesting ladies who will present their project that they have developed the last years, which is also called Blue Schools. But this one is Blue Schools for the Blue Economy. So, Irene, would you like to start? I will stop sharing.
Yes, thank you. Hello all. Welcome to this workshop, to this webinar. It doesn't matter how we call it. A huge welcome from summer Greece. It is a really hot day and sunny day, so we officially welcome summer here in my region in the south. And of course, a huge welcome to all people that live and teach and work around the sea, which is an essential part of this planet and our life. My name is Irene Gotsi. I come from Greece. I used to be a teacher in private schools, so more or less I can understand the feeling of being in a classroom and have so many new things to say and share to students and make them feel excited about it and engage them on building a sustainable future. But in the same time, I am finishing a master's degree in project management. So more or less I've changed my career. Blue Schools project is my favorite Erasmus Plus project, not only because of the thematic, but because I have the honor to work together with really magnificent people around Europe and with Marina Bego and Petra Patrimonia Corsica and all the other partners that actually hugged, let's say, this project. I would like to say that I work in a company. I haven't prepared a presentation about my company because I didn't want to take your time. My company is located in Greece, in Piraeus, which is the main commercial port in Greece. And mostly we are working with Erasmus Plus projects, but we are a consulting company. We deliver trainings, we develop web pages, and we give audits for ISO standards, etc. I have prepared a presentation about today's webinar. I think I can share my screen. No, I think, Evie, would you be so kind to let me share my screen?
Can you try again?
Let me try again. Yes, now I can. Thank you very, very much. Okay, most probably now you can see my screen. Let me put it in. Okay. So now you can see my screen. This is the presentation of the project's material. In our language, when we are project managers, we call these intellectual outputs. And we updated this term, and now we are talking about working packages. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter. What we mean is material, what we have developed under the framework of an Erasmus Plus project. This is a school project, as you can see. And it is a 2 years project. Normally, it would have ended by the end of August, by the end of this summer. But due to the outbreak, we have decided to ask for a 3 months extension in order to support the dissemination part of this project and hopefully to be able to organize physical multiplier events and not online ones. So, as I said before, the leader in this project is Petra Patrimonia Corsica. It's from France, and we have with us today Marina Béraud. She's going to speak about another project. So I will be representing, let's say, Blue Schools. And along with AEAB, which is a cluster of schools in Atuguia de Baleia in Portugal. Chios Marine Club, which is representing a club of members from the Greek island of Chios that is close to Turkey in Aegean Sea. Then another partner is Ponatha, a Pan-Cyprian offshore nautical club, which is a non-profit association. We have with us Antalya Provincial Directorate for National Education in Turkey, which is based in Antalya. An institute which is a secondary school and a vet school, two in one, called Istituto Canizzaro in Catania, Sicily, Narva Soldino Gymnasium in Estonia, and of course IDEC. This project had a main goal, let's say, to introduce blue economy to school education and to engage students in order to see their perspective in this, let's say, area, and to teach them how to work with tools and materials we have developed and build eventually a sustainable future in coastal areas. The target group for this project are students and teachers in secondary schools. Now, our concrete material, let's say, our objectives in terms of hands-on things is number one, the Blue School concept. Number two, a guide for teachers in order to train them about blue economy. And number three, learning materials for students and how to implicate them and build projects about blue economy. Under this framework, we have decided to run a transnational competition, which has ended a few days ago. We had an online, unfortunately, we had an online ceremony instead of a physical one. And winners would have the opportunity to travel to Catania in Sicily and present their projects in front of an audience. But we didn't have the chance to implement it like that. So it was just a virtual event. However, we've managed to bring awareness to so many schools around the Mediterranean lake and, of course, Estonia in the Baltic Sea. And students were really, really excited about being part of such a big project. So, as I said, the intellectual output, or they'll say the first material that we have developed, was the Blue School concept. And that was not so easy to put it on paper, although it seems easy, but it wasn't, because it is a really, let's say, wide and general term. So we had to ask teachers and students, and we had a workshop last autumn, and via Mentimeter, we asked many teachers around the Mediterranean and the Atlantic, because this training was a responsibility from Portuguese partners. So here are their answers. We asked them how students could be engaged towards the Blue School concept, and this is how they have replied. Some people said that we should take them to the beach or implement creative projects. Some others said that we should motivate and inspire them. Some others said that we should build eco schools and, let's say, include blue economy in such a building or a status. Most of them actually said that outdoor activities could be useful in order for children to realize what blue economy stands for and how could that be possible in order to build a blue school. And of course, they said that they would like to have some lessons inside the school curricula and be able to, let's say, understand what it means to be part of a blue economy project, because more or less they deal with such issues, but they feel not so focused on what the term actually means. Then, under this framework of having all these ideas together, we built this competition. Of course, it was we were obliged, let's say, to implement this competition. We have decided to develop some categories, such as tourism, coastline and marine heritage, sea pollution and global warming, protection of the marine environment, blue economy, entrepreneurship, and water sports. These were the main categories. But we added some extra categories because some of the projects that were, let's say, candidates for the prizes, they were really, really creative, or they managed to approach blue economy in a totally different perspective. So that is why we have created 4 extra categories and gave awards to these students or this group of students as well. These extra categories were: what have we done in our school to become blue? There was a category about creativity, another one about sustainable development, and the last but not least, it was best cinematography. I don't know if we have, let's say, some minutes later on to share at least one video from this competition, because it was a really nice process. So about the guide, which I'm going to present later on. It is intellectual output number 2. It is a guide full of tools and methodology ideas and piece of advice created specifically for teachers. And the main goal of this material is to help them introduce and impart blue philosophy to students and eventually transform their school into a blue one. And the last intellectual output that we are working right now, and we are almost finishing, is the learning resources for students. It's a dossier of learning resources for students so that they can realize what blue economy stands for. As I said before, it is something that students and teachers will work together. And by this, we hope that everyone will realize the importance of blue economy and sustainability of their coastal areas or islands. So that was my presentation number 1. Let me now share my presentation number 2, unless we have someone that would like to ask one question, I don't know. Otherwise, I move on. It's up to you. Is it clear so far? I think so. Okay, so I share again.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was very clear. Thank you so much. That was very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I move on, and maybe we can discuss a little bit about this project when I finish my second presentation. I share my screen again, and I will be more precise on what this guide for teachers, let's say, means to us. So that is why I called this presentation How to Integrate Blue Economy in Class. As I said, the guide for teacher had this main goal to impart blue philosophy to students, and these are the contents of the teacher's guide. We had a small introduction explaining to teachers why we have decided to work on blue economy in the first place and why we think it is important for coastal areas and islands. Then we started analyzing blue economy, and we said that, would you excuse me a little bit? I need to close my window because the dogs are barking. Just a sec. Great. I did it. Great. Thank you. So I move on. The second unit was about analyzing blue economy and the fact that this is an important, let's say, parameter in people's life, especially those that live by the sea. Then, along with other partners, mostly school partners, we have decided to include 4 different features of Blue School and how to proceed towards it. I will explain it later on. We have a unit specially dedicated to educational methodologies that you can use in order to work with Blue Economy, and then some piece of advice on how to develop a lesson plan. Another unit is about application of Blue Economy in schools. This is where we worked with Pornatha from Cyprus and from Petra Patrimonia Corsica, and we had some ideas about tourism, sailing, and gastronomy. Then we have some indicative lesson plans, and before we are closing this guide, we had some project ideas, how to launch Blue project that will be implemented by students, and then of course there is the conclusion. So I start with this. In this part, analyzing Blue Economy, we thought that it would be useful for someone to map the area that, let's say, the group of students will work on. We had two different examples in this guide. The one is from my area. It's the municipality of Piraeus. As you can see, it is like a small peninsula, and around there is sea. It is the Saronic Gulf in Greece. Then we said that it would be wise to talk with some stakeholders or people from the local community sorry, in order to realize what it means for them to be part of Blue Economy. And with some schools that we talked about this, we've realized that they weren't so familiar with the term. And I mean, like, okay, you are a fisherman, but you don't know exactly that this is part of Blue Economy. That's what I'm talking about. So it's about bringing awareness. Then we have collected some examples from countries around Europe in order to, let's say, identify stakeholders. And in all partners countries, namely Greece, Turkey, Cyprus, France, Italy, and Estonia and Portugal, we've mapped all the stakeholders that we thought it would be useful to put them in a table. And then everyone from these countries that would like to reach them, we had some piece of information available in this table. So you saw before something from Italy, something from France. Here are some information and some stakeholders from Greece. And we move to module or unit number 3. These are the 4 dimensions that we've decided to put in this guide. The first one is the sea belongs to us. The second one is dynamic sea. The third one is discover and explore the sea. And the fourth is sea and humanity. For each dimension, we've integrated some tips, let's say, some suggested school activities to be developed in this dimension. And then we had some general data, like big data, or not that big, but we thought that it would be useful for teachers to use them and exploit them properly and responsibly in order to bring awareness to their students. Then I'm just showing some sub-units of our guide. We've decided to explain a little bit about some sciences that we feel are closely connected with Blue Economy. One of them is coastal archaeology, which is really, really famous in all the Mediterranean area. And I believe it is also famous in many places around the world, but still we're talking about this particular place. So in every part, we give examples of what something is, like this particular science. We, let's say, suggest some extra activities, for example, some voluntary presentation or some appointments with stakeholders in order for students to get more engaged. And we approach this blue economy term in a more, let's say, holistic perspective, like starting from the very, very old ages, like how we used to talk about the sea in ancient Greek mythology, for example. This is a vase where you can see Ulysses and the sirens trying to seduce him and eventually kill him. And we have some piece of information about mythologies around the Mediterranean. Then we come to a more hands-on information like numbers and statistics. You can see that in every reference there is always a footnote with the link that can redirect you to the original source. So we avoid with the plagiarism issue, of course. We explain what is the difference between maritime tangible and intangible cultural heritage. And then, as we move on, we have some questions that a teacher, along with students, could answer when visiting a stakeholder. This stakeholder could be a school principal. It could be someone that owns a company, a maritime company. It could be someone which is, let's say, works in a ministry, in Ministry of Maritime Affairs, etc. So we thought that maybe we could support teachers and students on how to set up an interview like that. Of course, we couldn't develop a guide without having the digital side. So we have collected some examples of platforms and digital resources for teachers and for students in order to make a more virtual image of what blue economy could be. Also, we have in this guide some more project-based terms like mission and vision, and some, let's say, tools that they can use, but they are project-based and not so education-based. Of course, we have put many pedagogical resources, and as I said, the examples of digital platforms and tools. This is the part when we have decided to work on two different sectors of blue economy. One is culture in gastronomy, and this one is located in Corsica. And the second one was sailing in the Mediterranean Sea, since our partner from Larnaca, Cyprus, is responsible for managing a sailing club. So he was actually the expert of it. Now, about how to develop a lesson plan, we have studied a lot before actually creating this part. We knew that guide for teachers is eventually addressed to teachers, but nevertheless, we thought that we should have a default step-by-step guide on how the lesson plans that we used could be put into a classroom and, let's say, have flesh and blood. So in that case, we have 7 different steps. Like we have a subject, let's say, we have to set up our goals. And in our case, blue economy is the initial one. And then we have to set deadlines like, okay, students, this project is supposed to be ended by, let's say, the end of the month. And then we should collect our resources. Is it going to be bibliography? Is it going to be online resources? Is it going to be interviews or some focus groups, let's say, with people that would like to share more about blue economy? And then how to engage students. For example, we can just take them with us and say, now we will meet with someone that knows a lot about blue economy. So let's find out together. Or maybe we can prepare an engaging presentation. Maybe we can share a video or a film which is related to blue economy. Then we should provide clear and concrete instructions. For example, students, we are about to develop a video. So this is, let's say, the prerequisites for this video. This is the duration. This is how many people should be involved. We shouldn't show faces because we should protect the personal data, etc. I think that this step is really, really important. At least this is what I remember from my teacher experience, is that when you give clear instructions to students, they can do amazing stuff, basically miracles. Now, of course, when we develop a lesson plan, we cannot say bye-bye without integrating gamification. When I used to be a teacher, all these digital platforms and online quiz and Kahoot and Metimeters weren't available, but still, I remember that sum up in a more, let's say, fun way was always really, really motivating for them. And the last step, of course, is to assign a homework. Teachers need to say when they want to get back the homework and discuss it in front of the classroom. So I will now share with you an indicative lesson plan. It is one of the 7 different ones that we've used for this guide. We have decided to work on a topic which is about marine and aquaculture technology. So let's say that this has to do with what do you want to be when you grow up, for example. This is a question that normally we ask students in secondary schools. And then as we move on to contents and we say how we can, let's say, measure distance on the map, which means mathematics, and how we can choose a career goal, which means like it could be sociology. And when we want to discuss about seafarer-employer relationship, this could be involved with skills and competencies. Then we should say what the goals are before we start implementing the lesson plan. So what we want to achieve by working with this. And you can see a series of bullets below goals. Then what are the skills that are supposed to be upgraded through this lesson that we are working on? And of course, in the subjects, here we say it is marine and aquaculture technology. In another lesson plan, we could integrate a variety of sciences. It could be geography, it could be chemistry, it could be literature and mathematics. Now, about the target audience, we say that this lesson plan could be addressing students in the middle school, like the 8th grade, which is for some countries the end of secondary school. The typology is a project methodology. Let's say we have a project-based lesson, and the duration of this could be 2 weeks. Now, it depends on how many hours you meet your students and you work with a thematic. But nevertheless, what we have thought about in this, let's say, part of the guide is interdisciplinary. Now, about the material that we might need in this indicative lesson plan. For example, we could be in the classroom, but we could be in a laboratory. We could do some simulations. We could visit someone that deals with blue economy, and maybe he is repairing boats. So, for example, if we want to learn more about this topic, we should have our eyes open. Then we should investigate who are the appropriate stakeholders that we should deal with. We should set up appointments. We should prepare ourselves in what we want to learn and what we want to accomplish. And of course, in terms of, let's say, second level skills in this indicative lesson plan, we say that we could include some dramatization methods. For example, we can create a short play or a video clip or something like that. Now, of course, we have the assessment part, which is measuring and evaluating with some measurement online tools. And of course, we can decide all together whether we want this participation in this project to be related with our semester grades or not. And in terms of comments, we say that what are the technicians or the professionals that we need to meet. In terms of which dimension we are approaching in this indicative lesson plan, we are in the fourth one, C and humanity. Now, as I said, the really useful part of this teacher's guide is some project ideas. These are ideas that were already implemented in school partners' curricula, mainly in the Portuguese one and the Estonian one. I won't explain all of this. I will just say that under the framework of a learning and training activity this autumn, we had the opportunity to learn about scavenger hunt and the escape boat, which is an interactive game with tasks about the ocean. And we had the opportunity to create a virtual library with books. So let's say that teachers have already assigned to students, and we were students in that learning and training activity as well. And these students should collect all, let's say, resources that are related to blue economy. It could be paintings, it could be songs, it could be poems or books, it could be interviews, or maybe some accomplishments that famous people have done. So it was a library full of blue economy information, which was really, really interesting because you had an holistic overview of what blue economy means throughout the ages. Of course, we had the opportunity to see a Minecraft Education edition with people diving and creating some submarine, let's say, machines that could clean the ocean water. We saw some 3D printing materials and, of course, some digital games, augmented reality. It was really, really interesting. And if anyone is even more interested in learning about these project ideas, maybe he can get in touch with me or Marina, and we will give you all the feedback that you would like to have. So that is my presentation. I stopped sharing my screen. I hope you found it interesting, and I'm open to questions if there are any.
Do you have any questions? Now is the time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody say something. I have a question.
Yes.
So, do you have like a library of resources that were developed by the teachers in your network? Or
Marina, would you like to say something? Okay. We don't have a library in terms of specific categories under which you can find specific content, but we have collected first the project ideas, then the digital tools, and then if you can access the guide, you will see that there are many different aspects of blue economy around the world, around time. And so I think it's full of information. However, if someone would like to suggest something more, or maybe something that would wish to be integrated in that guide, of course, we are open to suggestions. And if anyone wants some piece of information, of course, they can reach me and I will get back with the answers.
Great. And I assume on Facebook, you have an interesting Facebook page.
Yes, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
They would find many ideas as well there. So
And
please download the guide.
Yes, you can find the guide in the project's website. That is blueschools.eu, I think. Let me just open it for you.
Yes, I've put the link into the chat when Irene was talking. Yeah.
I have
Great.
also a question, if you allow
Yes.
me. So, how other teachers could use these documents or these outcomes of your project?
They can visit our website and find the material that is developed. IO2 is the guide for teachers. They can download it. It is available in 6 languages or 7.
No,
It's Greek.
it
Yeah.
is clear that it's allowed. I understand.
Yeah.
The problem is about the copyright. So, is there a copyright or is free copy of copyright?
No. It's a free material because it is under the framework of Erasmus Plus. So
Okay.
everyone could have it and respect it, of course. But nevertheless, it is something that was developed under Erasmus Plus project.
Okay, thank you. That was the question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Now is the time.
Okay, so I can, if there is no question, I will take the floor. Hi, everybody. I'm Marina from Preta Patrimonia from France. I would like to introduce indeed Mrs. Carmen Bukovala, because from Ovidius High School, because they took part into the competition of the project Irene just explained to you. And indeed, they took part, and there is a winning team in their school about water sports. I will try to share the video to you in order to see the work of the girls. And also, Mrs. Bukovala sent us something to explain what they have been doing in their school to become blue. And I think she will be able to share this with us today. If you don't mind, I will first share the video and then I will give you the floor, Carmen. All right. So
yes, perfect.
I will try to do so. I hope it will work. Here. Oops, not a good page.
Dura, a program specially designed to help tourists and locals learn more about the marine life of the Black Sea and to raise awareness of the effects pollution can have on sea life. Therefore, our main activity is scuba diving.
Scuba is an abbreviation for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, and is primarily executed for the exploration of the unreachable and mysterious undersea world. Since the beginning of time, the ocean is the region of nature that humanity has not been able to totally control. We simply aren't capable to breathe underwater by our own means. For that reason, scuba diving gives us an opportunity to be in that world, even if it's just for a defined quantity of time.
For a safe and comfortable scuba diving trip, we ensure high-quality equipment for all of our guests. But to make sure they actually learn something new, we offer them a virtual guide just like the one on the screen, where they can find out everything they need to know about most of the species that might be seen underwater. From the most common species of algae to animals that are quite rare to the sight, we've patiently looked for accurate information about most of the life forms that live in the Black Sea, with hope that people won't live only with beautiful memories but also with precious facts. Here are some samples of our friendly guides explaining more to our guests.
The Black Sea is unique in the world because 90% of its volume is anoxic water, sulfurous, situated under an oxygenated layer of 150 and 2000 meters. Even if its water contains hydrogen sulfide, the surface water have hosted exceptional biodiversity.
Along the shore, at shallow depth, we can discover the following species. The seahorse, which has poor swimming abilities, rapidly fluttering a dorsal fin and using pectoral fins to steer. Consequently, they are most likely to be found resting with their prehensile tail around a stationary object.
Other species that can be found close to the shore during springtime are small groups of bottlenose dolphin and porpoise. Bottlenose dolphin can live for more than 40 years. Females typically live 5 to 10 years longer than males. Impressive is that they can also jump at a height of 6 meters up in the air. Similar to the bottlenose dolphin is the porpoise. They do not form large social groups and they produce ultrasonic clicks which are used for both navigation and social communication.
In addition to these friendly species, there are some dangerous ones that should be observed from afar. The first one is the stingray, which is not usually aggressive and ordinarily attacks humans only when provoked, such as when a ray is accidentally stepped on. Contact with the stinger causes local trauma, pain, swelling, muscle cramps from the venom, and later may result in infection from bacteria or fungi. Another species is the greater weaver that is mostly and notoriously known for its venomous spines that can inflict serious injuries on humans through accidental stinging. Other venomous species, but less dangerous, are the scorpionfish, which uses the venom as an attack weapon on prey, and the barrel jellyfish that causes problems only to people who have strong allergies.
In comparison with the barrel jellyfish, the moon jellyfish is considered harmless to most humans, but can be quite dangerous for certain allergic people. For this reason, jellyfish should be avoided and admired from afar.
If we dive even deeper to explore the rocky bottom of the Black Sea, we will identify two species, the marbled crab and Ocellaturus. Unfortunately, both species are suffering due to the chemical pollution that is destroying their natural habitats.
The world's most isolated sea, the Black Sea, supports a vast and dynamic marine ecosystem dominated by species suited to the brackish, nutrient-rich conditions. As with all marine food webs, the Black Sea features a range of trophic groups with autotrophic algae, including diatoms and dinoflagellates, acting as primary producers. Due to excessive pollution, the ecosystem changed radically and quickly entered a state of collapse. As a result, dead and decaying sea plants and animals overflowed Romanian and Ukrainian shores. Over the past 3 decades, the Romanian coastal zone of the Black Sea has been subject to severe ecological disturbance. This can be observed in the fact that research done in 1965 shows the Black Sea marine life as healthy, while research done after 1970 shows drastic changes. Despite that, there are some species that are either recovering or doing well, and here are some of them.
Before we dive even deeper in our dream program, we have to make some estimations in order to acknowledge whether our idea is successful or not. At first, our paid workers will be the scuba instructor and the boatsman, the rest of our team being formed of volunteers. From our best scenario calculus, Infinita Azzurra will become more popular in July, and the profit would significantly increase during August. We've created Infinita Azzurra because we care and believe that we can make a change for better if we work together. Thank you for diving with us.
Here, I hope you enjoyed the video. So I think that maybe we have to say goodbye to Irene. I think you had to go.
No, I'm okay. I can stay a little bit longer. Thank you.
Great,
thank you for thinking of that.
Okay, thank you. So I will now give the floor to Carmen Bukovala, who might explain the work with the student and what they are doing in their school. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll share my screen. And just let me know if it's okay.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes. Okay, so I'll present you briefly our experience within the Blue Schools program. I am a biology teacher here in Ovidus High School. We are based in Constanța, Romania. We are located right here on the Black Sea area. As you can see, I used for this slide an image from the European Atlases of the Seas, exactly the page or the layer dedicated to the Blue Schools. So we are the green dots here among with other 4 Romanian schools that are members of this network. About us, in few words, we are a secondary school and we have students from 10 to 19 years old. Our main topics are natural sciences and computer sciences, but of course we offer classes in the field of languages, arts, sports, and so on. We have quite a strong project department, and during the last many years, we developed a lot of initiative under environmental education and education for sustainable development, but also entrepreneurship education, science awareness, and some other programs under Erasmus or Black Sea Basin program. We try to connect our initiative in order to have a continuity and have a logic and coherence in our demarche to bring contribution to our community, to local community life. I selected here several pictures in order to show you a little bit our work. Our students attend many events among science fair, project presentation, and of course the picture were taken before the pandemic outbreak, but it was a pleasure to prepare this presentation because it reminds me about a lot of beautiful projects we worked on. Our, let's say, most valuable partners are and longest term partners are, as you can see, Mare Nostrum NGO. It's a local NGO from Constanța, and we have a beautiful cooperation with them. We also work with the local university, Ovidius University from Constanța, the Romanian Marine Research Institute, and of course with the co-organizer of this webinar, Black Sea University Network. Of course, we have many others, many other partners at local, regional, national, and European level. And we took the advantage of every project and every initiative to improve our work in different kinds of projects. Regarding the topics, of course, there are many very interesting areas of knowledge where we can find interesting ideas. From our experience, we can select many ideas starting from Black Sea biodiversity. As we all know, Black Sea it's a very peculiar biome with plenty of unusual ecosystems. Therefore, it's practically an infinite source of ideas. Besides marine biodiversity, we also develop many projects on waste pollution from marine litter to microplastic issue. This is actually one of the latest projects we work on, being quite a new approach for us. In the past, we also investigate the marine resources. For example, we had a project on how to produce biofuels starting from marine algae, or how to produce cellulose for paper making out of algae as well. Some other projects were focused on searching unconventional energy sources such as waves energy or wind energy in the littoral area, and the newest topic of interest is the blue economy and blue growth. Some other pictures, and I think the picture I selected, the left one, it's quite interesting. It was a picture taken during a national science fair, and you can see one of our older students helping a young visitor to take a look perhaps on the microscope, and I think it's a very encouraging image. Regarding the pedagogical approaches, of course, we use project pedagogy. Therefore, most of our initiatives are based on projects. And we are used, of course, inquiry-based learning, collaborative learning, because all the projects are developed by teams of students and teachers. We use a lot gamification and game-based learning, peer learning. by putting together our older students, high school students, and our younger students in gymnasium classes. And we also have a special direction, let's say, focused on nature-based solution. I mentioned before the using algae as sources for energy or other resources. Like a parenthesis, in the past, Black Sea was affected a lot by eutrophication. Therefore, the macroalgae issue, it was for many years a very important one at the local level, at the Black Sea level. Regarding the competencies we aim to develop in our students, beside, of course, the science and technology competencies, we try to connect always the communication competencies in Romanian language and also foreign languages. And of course, nowadays, without the digital competencies, we can't even think to develop a project. It's also very important for us to connect the social level and the social aspects of a project, trying to find the best solution for an issue that affects the local community, affects somehow the local community. Therefore, we are in touch also with the social and civic competencies. Entrepreneurship is as well a very important target in our projects, and the connection with the cultural local treasures we have here. And regarding the general steps of the project, at least how we plan and develop it, those projects, we generally start from identifying an issue, a problem, something that is relevant at local level, and it might have also a global echo. After that, we are going to the topic, of course, connected somehow with the Black Sea or with the sea environment, starting from biodiversity, as I mentioned, to the oil pollution, for example, studying the species from algae to marine mammals, or studying the waste pollution. After that, we are forming the team. The selection of the topic and the identity and identifying the problem are normally generated by a smaller number of students and teachers, but we usually expand the team in order to allow as many colleagues to take part in this initiative. After that, of course, we have to split the work in packages or activities. We are taking care of the adjustments we have to undertake during the whole project. Analyzing the data is very important because nowadays we are facing lots and lots of information that it's important to have our students aware of how to extract what is important of it, in order to came up first with a solution to the problem, but to have the competencies I mentioned before. And of course, we have as one of the last steps of the project, the communication of the result and of the work. So in conclusion, for us, after many years of working on projects connected somehow with the Black Sea or the sea environment, we think it's very important to create synergy at local level, but also regional and European level, trying to connect our initiative with other similar works, and also to connect this initiative in our high school in order to get an interdisciplinary approach. Always we taking care of the solution, we're starting from a problem relevant at the local level, and we try to find a solution, even if it's a simple one or it's just a pilot solving of this issue. It's important also to understand and to make everyone aware of their social responsibility. This doesn't have to be just a strategy for a big company, for example. The CSR, it's not only for the big companies. The social responsibility should be important for each of us. We also think that all the schools should aim to diversify their offers in order to attract new stakeholders and to reach new targets and to develop new competencies. And of course, especially during the last year, we have seen that resilience is very important. It's a very important tool that should be developed and should include changes at individual level for the behavior. We all present changes in the economic approach and changes as well in social interaction. So in few words, this would be our experience as a school that always have a very important focus on project approach and also on the sea environment. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes,
hello, everybody. Warm meetings from Georgia to all. As we could see the portal in your presentation about the activities. My question is, there is a pandemic situation, right? And do you have any online activities or something like that?
Yes, we continue to have, during the last months, we continue to have different activities. Of course, it wasn't as easy to organize these activities as it was 3 years ago, for example. But normally we try to use the data already collected and to analyze it in order to come up with conclusions and solutions.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carmen. I don't know if there is. It seemed like I would like to be a student back and be in your school to do all those nice things. Any other question? Okay. So thank you, Carmen. Thanks again to the girls for the nice video and
thank you the opportunity to take part in the contest organized under
a great pleasure to do so. I just would like to mention. So I've shared with you the link in order to go on the Blue Schools website, that the project that Irene presented you before. I also mentioned the Blue School or the Facebook page, or you can join anytime. And there is also an eTwinning group. I don't know if you're familiar with it, and you can enter it by being in contact with one of the administrator, who is Zuhal Osbey. I've put it in the chat if you're interested in. You can contact her, or you can contact me if you have any trouble to get in contact. I would just like to know, Heavy, if we have still time, because I've got something else to share, but I know we are late. So
yes, well, yes, please. I would love to have you share your other project. We do have another 7 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes.
All right.
I think the transfer from this Zoom to the other Zoom, it's only 5 minutes. So please.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. I will do my best to be very brief. So I will share my screen here. Here. Okay, so I would like to share with you other references and another project we are running with as a partner in Erasmus Plus project. So first, just wanted to say a few words about Petra Patrimonia I'm working for. It's a cooperative, so a social enterprise focusing on blue economy, agriculture, heritage, and building sector. And the employees, the experts of the field are all involved in European projects as Blue School, as Mededuc, but also other projects in other relevant fields like sustainable development, environmental awareness, ecotourism, enhancement of port heritage, and also youth participation and entrepreneurship. I would like to introduce you to the Mededuc project. With the aim is to produce educational resources for teachers and also for students in order to be aware of the Mediterranean problematic issues that we encountered. Other resources concern the Mediterranean and the different issues, as I've said. I will go a little bit deeper into this right after. We are 7 partners from Spain, Greece, Italy, Croatia, and France in this project. So as Irene said, in the Blue School project, we have some outputs, as we call it, like materials. In this project, we have first a pedagogical reference going into the topics. And then we develop activities for students. And we have a website with everything, but also with self-assessment tests. So, yeah, I would like to show you briefly the website just to here. Okay, so the website is mededuc.eu. And here you have the pedagogical reference and the pedagogical guide. So the reference is the introduction to the chapter. Okay, yeah. So here we have 10 chapters according to the problematics we deal into the Mediterranean Sea. So maritime economy, waste and pollution, coastline artificialization, biodiversity, and so on. So we are going deeper into each of the issue in all the topics related to sustainable development. If we are going in any of the chapter, you will see that it is made the same way, like you have topic summary, main concept, competencies, key notions, introduction, and then we have real world issues. And then we have the position of this topic into school programs, into the countries of the partnership. It was to be sure that we are having an interdisciplinary approach into what we were discussing in each of the chapter. And then you have some resources.
Marie,
yeah.
Are you showing us a web page?
Sorry?
Are you showing us a web page now?
Oh, yeah. You cannot see it?
You cannot see it.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Here. Okay. Here, now you can see?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So you did not see what it doesn't matter. So the chapter I've just defined is like build like this topic and so on, and you will find all the information here. Oops. So when I introduced the topics, So here you will be able to download all the chapter, and you have each of the chapter on their own. We also have made the pedagogical guide, which is the most interesting indeed, because by topic you have some activity to do with the student. So for example, I will share you, this is not the final layout we will have, but for example, we have this activity from Alpha to Zulu in order to learn the NATO alphabet, phonetic alphabet to use in a marine environment. And you will be able also to download it. I wanted to have a little game with you, but I don't know if we have time now because it's running out. So just to let you know also on this website that you will be able to have a self-assessment test for all the chapter. It's still in progress, so we don't have everything online, but the students will be able to have tests for each of the chapter. All right. Here you see back my screen, the PowerPoint. Yes.
No, we see the.
Okay. Sorry.
I think you have to close and then share.
Yes.
The screen.
Okay, now?
Yeah, excellent.
Okay. For the activity I just showed you, so it's the same thing. You have some section, so you will be able to discover it, but school discipline, pedagogical content, etc. This is the layout of the final version of the activity. I wanted to introduce you to one activity that we call Roots of My Gene, but I'm not sure we have time. So I want just to show you final activities or layout like this. Okay, and you can go into the end and you have some specific worksheets. Do you think, Evie, we will have time to do the little game online?
I don't think so.
Oh, sorry. But anyway, all these activities can be indeed, depending of the content, we can do them through Menti or Story Map and so on. So yeah, it's very nice to do it also by other apps like quizzes and so on. It will be from now to not to take too much time then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry for that.
It's all right. Thank you. Anyway.
So, does anybody have any questions? This website is really full of resources. You cannot believe it. They're so interesting. And if you don't have to be from the Mediterranean to use the resources. Can be used in any type of coast or sea. So.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks a lot, Marina.
Thank you so much. Yeah. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was our pleasure to have you, really. Before we go, I will share some news from our network of the European Blue Schools. So DJ Mare has launched a pledge for all of us, including you teachers, to do a small action for the ocean. So I would really love to encourage you to pledge to become a blue school. This is a pledge of one of our certified teachers from Portugal who has pledged to make her students real game changers in ocean conservation. So I will share the link to the pledge in the chat, and please do make your pledge. It can be a personal pledge as well. So Manuela here, she's one of the 36 schools that will receive the certification of European Blue School this month. So about 2 weeks ago, the commissioner, he gave the first certificate at the European Maritime Days in Den Helder to the Dr. Jan B. Thijssen School. And this school was a primary school who did a project on blue economy. They decided to get to know the local fisheries and invite all stakeholders within the fisheries, local fisheries sector, and find out the journey a fish takes from the sea completely until their plate. And not only the students invited all stakeholders, they also went to different locations, and they really took up the topic of fisheries in their curriculum. So it will, the next years, all other generations of students in their school will learn about the local fishery and the importance of it. So I think that's about it. Our next call, so the call is now closed to submit the project of a blue school. The next one opens again 15th of August. So we are really proud that these 36 schools have achieved to develop a project in this, during a pandemic with so many times of school closures and homeschooling. So they have managed to do such a thing, and please have a look at the website. In the next month they will update their project so you can see how they did it. In this graph here you will see where all the schools are from, and as you can see there's indeed quite a few from Turkey, but also from Romania and the Mediterranean area. So voila. I hope you have enjoyed this webinar, and feel free to drop us a line and share your idea for a project on blue economy the next school year. And we hope things are more easy for you the next school year. That would be very important. So that is my email address. Thank you very much. Eden, do you wish to say something?
No, thank you. Usually the ladies are closing the most important aspects. So from that perspective, I would like to thank you for selecting and inviting such very nice and highly experienced speakers. And this is a very good incentive now for the next phase. So we are stopping here, we are closing this session. And then for the group of the schools from Romania, we shall have a second session that will be a closed session for, let's say, direct interaction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.